So I want to talk about this information regarding Supergirl from James Gunn via Rolling Stones. James Gunn says Supergirl is a space adventure movie, adding on, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I'm going to be honest. That makes me even less excited to see it. That makes me even less interested to see it. Well, because first of all, Creature Commandos was a fail. Nobody talks about it anymore other than people who have seen it, and that's very few people. Which I had to sit down, and I've only watched 2 episodes of it. I could not watch anymore because it was just boring. Writing was terrible. Superman, I initially enjoyed, but the more I think about it, the more I don't like it. I like specifically with why those monkeys were writing farming hate on Superman when the video that was released from his parents, who it confirms that that it that video itself that was confirmed to be real by James Gunn himself does the damage to build distrust in Superman, and nothing in the movie makes Superman any. Nothing disproves that claim that Superman is there to uh, seek dominion over the Earth. Nothing in the movie disproves it. Nothing makes him out to be this actual hero who's doesn't have an ulterior motive. Nothing in the movie does. Not a damn thing in the movie makes him out to be someone with an without an ulterior motive. At least to the public. The public doesn't believe or know Superman is actually there to be a hero. After this video comes out, the trust in the public is at all-time low. So this video shows that there's no need to have to farm hate. There's no need to have those monkeys farming hate and all that. That's completely redundant. That aspect of that film is completely redundant, and it's ridiculous. But then there's Peacemaker season 2. Peacemaker season 2, which is not good. It's rough. So I'm gonna preface this. I watched Peacemaker season 1. I personally enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Peacemaker season 1, as I said, I watched it. I personally enjoyed it. There were some things I could easily overlook. I still enjoy it. I still think it was fun. It's that's what James Gunn does best, is that concept. So, but it's old. But of course, I was gonna watch season 2, and I was willing to give Gunn the benefit of the doubt. But one thing that immediately turned me off of the movie was the fact that in the first episode of season 2, there's an orgy. I'm not interested in seeing that shit. I do not care at all. I don't care if his character, he's bi and all that. I do not give a shit. To me, in my personal opinion, you could take out the sex and the nudity and even the grotesque violence in 99% of movies that have been made in the last 35 years. And the plot will be the exact same. Tell the exact same message, the exact same theme, the exact same atmosphere. And it just, to me, it really just, you could take out so many things. And now, there are some instances where I do believe having nudity in it is fine and all that, where it makes sense for the plot, but I still do not think there needs to be any sex in any movie. It's there to get people's attention. That's literally what it's there for. There's really no plot reason for it to be there, because in movies it used to be where you fade, like you'd see two people kiss in a room, like kind of on a bed in a room, and it'd fade away. You kind of get the gist of what's going on there as an adult. Now there's just so much crap and all that. It's ridiculous. And but so that turned me down. I was completely uninterested after that. But what really solidified it was one in Peacemaker season 2, Chris Peacemaker is at the exact same position he was at the beginning of season 1. So his evolution in from season 1 from episode 1 of season 1 to episode 8 of season 1 is nothing. It means nothing because his arc in that first season went from him being a scumbag to being a hero. And in season 2, episode 1, he's back to square one. And it doesn't really make sense. They don't really explain why he's back to square one. So it's terrible, and I'm just not interested in it. And there's so many plot contrivances in sayings, and the fact that James Gunn lied multiple times when it came to it. He said specifically one thing is that Peacemaker would reveal very, very important information on the future of the DCU, and it really didn't. But it just, the show is so bland, and that finale, like I said, the finale is just terrible. It's just bad. It's just bad. So that's 3 fails because Peacemaker didn't chart at all. Creature Commandos isn't talked about. Superman lost $42 million, and Peacemaker season 2 did not chart. That is 3 fails. 3 failures in a row. And that's not a good sign. That's objectively bad. And now there's rumors and speculation that James Gunn might be out. Well, do I think he'll be out? No. Do I hope he'll be out? Kinda. What I think is when James Gunn is completely in control, no guardrails, no anything. That's when he's the worst. Because there's no one there to tell him, to keep him checked. No one there to tell him maybe you shouldn't do this. There's no one there to keep him in control. And that's the worst aspect of Gunn. That's the worst aspect of Gunn, is when he has full reins to do whatever he wants. And that's when we get the worst Gunn projects. So I do believe if Paramount, which the first bidding thing was rejected, Warner Bros. Rejected it, and people say, well, then that means it's over. They're not buying it. I'm like, well, that's not really how that works. That usually what happens in negotiations and purchases and all that of companies is company one offers of course the biggest a good business and entrepreneur would offer have the biggest demand, and kind of the most outlandish demand that's very unlikely. And the company would be like, no, we don't want that. And they're like, okay, we'll lower it. They'll get to the point where they actually want. They'll get to that point where they can meet in the middle. The point that where the company wants, well, like both companies are okay with. That's what happens in business, like transactions and all that. That's very normal. So I believe Paramount will come back. And like I said, it's like multiple articles say, it's the first round of negotiations and buyout talks. But like they're of course. So this means that they're going to negotiate and all that. Do I think they're going to terminate James Gunn? No, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. But what I hope happens is they put guardrails on Gunn, because guardrails will significantly increase the quality of the DCU. Because as we've seen with the DCU as of yet, without guardrails, it's a freaking cluster. It's a clusterfuck. It's a disaster. The continuity is it's all over the place. The canonical stuff is all over the place. In fact, that I'm hearing that the original Suicide Squad is technically canon to the DCU because Harley Quinn's canon and Peacemaker's canon and the events of it. So I'm like, wait, if all that is canon, then here's one massive issue. If the Suicide Squad, the first one, is technically canon to the DCU, who's in that movie? Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman. Oh, and Harcourt is also in Black Adam. Who's in that movie? Henry Cavill's Superman. So the issue is specifically when you take continuity from a previous universe and try to merge it into this universe, into a new universe you're trying to create, a rebooted universe, unless you do a full reboot, you're going to have to do a whole lot of work, a whole shit ton of work to explain why some characters are in this new universe and others aren't. And it's going to be a hard process, and it's very difficult and very hard for most writers to do. And I do not think Gunn has that capability of successfully doing that. I think they should have been a completely separate universe. I don't think Peacemaker should have been part of this universe. I don't think any of it should have happened. I think it's ridiculous. I think it adds more confusion. And when audiences see this, they hear this stuff, they're going to be like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense. But of course, like I said, it's a clusterfuck. It's ridiculous. But then I think the next project we're getting is Lanterns, and then we're getting the Supergirl movie, and then whatever other projects afterwards. But yeah, so we're getting right here, as it says, James Gunn says Supergirl is a space adventure movie, like I've said, and it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, there's an issue with that. Like I said, I've said this to someone else. James Gunn pretty much just copy and paste with every movie. He's a one trick pony. He's got one trick up his sleeve, and he's not good at anything else. He's good at bringing misfits together and all that, and as team hero movies and all that. And it worked with Guardians of the Galaxy. It worked with the Suicide Squad. But he was not good at Superman. There's so many plot contrivances in that movie, so many inconsistencies, and it's not a good movie. I think it's I don't like this. I don't like this idea because of course I'm not interested in Supergirl, and Superman being a financial flop, losing $42 million. I don't think there's any hope for Supergirl to make any money. She's a lesser known character. Now, of course, Gunn did make lesser known characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy very popular. But he's trying to recreate that magic. He's trying to artificially recreate that magic by doing it over and over again, and it's not really working. So I don't think he will honestly do a good job with this. Unless he has guardrails. And then like someone to keep him in control, to keep him in check, so his mind doesn't really wander off the goal, which is to create a cinematic universe. But honestly, like in my personal opinion, I've said this before, if I was doing this, if I was making a DC cinematic universe, I'd start with Superman, and then I do Batman, and then I do a Wonder Woman movie. And now, I just think that's smart. You do the trio first, the most recognizable heroes in the DC comics, which is Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And yeah, you get those three in, and well, then you could start to explore the bigger universe, what's going on in other words. But this whole Gunn cinematic universe that did that GCU as I think Nerdrotic coined it, was a GCU, the Gunn cinematic universe, which completely checks out because one, the Gunn's life, he took inspiration of his life he took inspiration of his life and his conflicts and his issues and his past experiences and put them into the movies. And Peacemaker was pretty much just a way to get his family, his wife and friends into the DC cinematic universe. I just, like I said, I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in DC anymore. In the DCU, I'm not interested unless someone puts their foot down and puts James Gunn in check and puts guardrails in place so that he doesn't veer off course so easily. Then there's no hope for the DCU, and it will fail. It will, because James Gunn, unconstrained and left to his own devices, will destroy the DCU. I mean, the first 3 projects have been fails. So, yeah. And FYI, you call me a Snyder bro all you want. I'm not a Snyder bro. I really don't care I don't want the DCEU to be rebooted, especially with the later half of the movies. I think it was a shit show as well. But it's the same thing happening there as it's happening now. Incompetence and arrogance. But it's just, like I said, I'm not interested. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share on your preferred social media platform. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, and God bless.